Hello, collective. This is Sheila, your host for Intentional Conversations. How are you tonight? Hope all is well, collective. So, this episode, we're going to talk about exposure, using your discernment, and the quiet collapse. Well, hopefully, quiet collapse of a false authority. Okay, in the collective right now. So, this could be a group, cult, um, workplace, family, um, that has been doing a lot of narcissistic patterns long time and gossip and manipulation. So there's a releasing of binding. So something that was bound up in a lot of narcissistic patterns, gossip, and manipulation, now, without fear or even having to confront it right now, it's all coming out into the open. Okay. Um, so this is going to be just a grounded conversation where we can talk about how truth can restore balance in a very unfair, unstable, or unbalanced environment. This is going to be talking about peace and protection when clarity is arriving or has arrived. And how, if some of you guys who are having like the justice coming into your life or victory of some sort where you don't need the victory is arriving without you having to make a spectacle out of it, okay? Okay, and then the big topic is definitely false authority out here in the collective. False authority, and I tell these people, it's not always people always think when I talk about false authority that something like a pastor and things like that. It's not always that. It's just how people operate in their general life. So like your job, your life, your family's life. Those are authority figures, or you acting in authority of your own sovereignty out here in the collective. And so let's do a let's go through the storyline that I have for you today, and then see what kind of conversations you can have in your own dialogue and your friends and stuff about this particular podcast. But right now, the collective is going through something pretty interesting. There's either a group or I would say a really dark group. I'm looking at the SC files and case and everything. There's a group, coven, or organization that's really dark that is getting exposed right now. And they have built this power through not just influence, but an agreement where they have used this to control in secrecy they all share this delusion, this belief system delusion. They all were kind of cohesive together. And, while I was riding, I call it high on the hog. And now the truth is surfacing. They're all losing this cohesive front together. They're all pretty much getting separated one by one, and they're dealing with consequences. Not just one person, but the whole mass of people. And from what I feel energetically, it's just not one list. I see multiple lists, but in many different things. One is child trafficking, other is money laundering, and some other money issues, and some other crimes also, not just in child trafficking. So, but when we look at our own lives, what are we dealing with in our own collective lives? Most of you guys will be dealing with people like at your job, your family, a group of people, friend network, or even a cult. Someone has been in somebody who's focused on what it looks like, the image. Somebody wanted to be the image that people admire, right? Like a celebrity, well liked, well dressed, speak well, the whole nine, yada, yada, yada. But they lost the integrity to a point where they became a false role model, where they told everybody, I'm laughing because I'm hearing the spirits singing. So it's giving me to the point where people who have been in a very image struck mindset to the point where they have become mean spirited, narcissists, maybe even fraudulent. This is like somebody wearing a fancy suit and they don't have any money. I know because I used to work for Wells Fargo. I used to be a manager, by the way. And I'll tell y'all right now, there's people who are dripping in Gucci and they got no money. Okay, none. So that illusion of looking the part never got me impressed. When people say, "Well, she don't seem to be impressed with the fashion." If you've been around money long enough, now I'm not talking no small money. I'm talking about big money. You wear sweatpants. I mean, but a lot of you like to dress really, really fancy. I'm just making jokes now. But if you saw the real big money, and saw what they were wearing 9 times 10, they wasn't. You couldn't tell. Okay, but I will definitely say this: that somebody's really image struck. Okay, and whatever they wanted people to see them as a mentor, role model, their energies, whatever they have prolonged out here through gossip, and this is where their downfall was this gossip. They kept pushing the noise around some sort of storyline or narrative to the point that it folded and it collapsed upon them. Okay, so somebody wanted to believe everybody to believe that they were credible on something that was already a wobbly situation, right? So somebody maybe had used drama and escalated and blew it up into such a storyline, like a TV cinema movie. They had a new story every day. Oh, this is what's happened. This is what's happened. This is what's happened, and this and people were just feeding the fuel of this lie. And maybe this whole group and organization agreed to that. They agreed to that, and then they all have to take that ride with you. And if you got everybody agreed, then all of you have to kind of deal with the consequences. And it's gotten to the point where this story has went so long that these energetic old ties, these contracts, these agreements, these binding agreements, has dissolved. And now the agreement is flying out there. The truth is flying out there. Okay, time is up for most of these people in the collective right now, and I am not joking. I don't know who they prayed to, what they tapped into, but it's over for them now. And I'm not saying that to be malice. I'm like, damn, somebody went too far, collective, and they went too long. It was like, I posted on my Instagram page, the collective. I posted the collective, and I showed that there was a noise. All the people that was mean spirited, yelling, chaotic, almost heathenistic, like a very heathenish energy. And the collective is soft and quiet, calm and clear. And they were calm and clear because they obtained their sovereignty. We don't, a true authority don't need to perform authority. And so that's why it gets very hard in this collective, because people always expect some performance. And I know people say, "Sure, why you always got to use Moses' name?" Because he had to kind of prove himself in front of sorcerers. He had to throw down his staff and it turned to a snake, and they throw down their staff and the snake. It's just people want people to perform, especially on social media. This is like someone who wants to cast wonders and stuff. And before you know it, people are doing crazy things in this group collective, right? And you can only emotionally manipulate people to a point where it has an ending. Everything has an ending. Everybody has an ending. And so whatever this gossip was had its end game, but somebody wanted to somehow maybe use magic, maybe use manipulation intentions to prolong it to the point that the wheels fell off. And keep in mind, this is a group unit that's all in agreement. They had to hold up this vehicle of lies and Flintstone it to hold on to this story. And then just imagine the weight that they're carrying, trying to hold up on something and then do all of this narrative to maintain it. So they was Flintstoning it. They lose the wheels, so they got to paddle. Now they got to run, hold up the frame, and still run like everything's a-okay. They lose the steering wheel, so now they can't even drive in a direction no more. Now they're still trying to. Somebody's still fixated on continuing the path without the steering wheel, the wheels, and now they're holding up the frame of the vehicle. All this weight. So somebody's maybe in regret now because they were so busy trying to control. Maybe they're in remorse now because over manipulation, overextension. Somebody went beyond the authority that they had thinking that they had a higher authority than you, collective. This is when people want to look down on somebody. It's so funny because Spirit just said it to me, so I'm going to repeat it. Spirit says, some people, he said, it's nothing worse when somebody who think they have authority over royalty. Somebody wanted to rise above somebody who had I don't want to say higher spiritual rank, but somebody who had actual authority. Could be a position in your management job, could be the position in spirit. And somebody wanted their energy, their tyranny was to rise above you and to conquer you in some way. Somebody wanted to devour you in these spiritual streets, collective. Everything has an end game. Everybody has an end game. Somebody probably had done this for a long, long time. They had become so narcissistic that you couldn't really tell them anything. You can't tell them anything. You have to pray every day. And sometimes you got to pray for common sense. And I'm really big on this. And I'm going to just say this and then you can take it as you see it. But I ain't never been big. And I'm big on this, y'all. This is like not my pet peeve, but I ain't never been big on following people. Never. I remember many years ago, a group came to me and said, hey, we want you to be part of a coven. And my intuition was on 1,000 back then. Now it's supersonic. You can forget about it now. Now, back then, I looked at them. I said, you all a circle of chaos. Y'all be worse than the moon. You're worse than the war. No. You ain't gonna have me dealing with you and you fighting everybody. Down, you're not mature enough to handle a lot of what these people are praying to. Okay? Some of you don't have the emotional intelligence or the intelligence. I'm just gonna say it flat like I see it. And I'm gonna be honest to you. I'm gonna say one more thing. Some of y'all spirits are not as intelligent to be doing some of the things that you got them out here doing in these spiritual streets. Did I say it out loud? Yes, I did. You can't, your authority and your ancestors' authority is at a degree that everybody's trying to evolve. They had their life experiences. And now you're having a life experience and you're supposed to evolve yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't think that your spirit team don't want you to elevate, sprinkle, sprinkle, but at the same time, not at the cost of your whole bloodline. Where you start to reach for, it's almost like somebody who want to put on wings and then go straight to the sun and ask no questions. Nobody, and everybody said, don't go to the sun. And this sucker's going 120 miles an hour to the sun, trying to get more power, trying to get more access. Somebody was a drunkard, a drunken spirit, drunk themselves to death. Drink, 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 drink. I'm going to drink out of everybody's cups. Well, you know what? Sometimes those cups laced with poison. Yeah, as you try to poison the collective with the gossip and lies to the point where you had to drink your own poison at a time. Some point in time, you had to drink your own poison. Somebody keeps saying, I thought I wasn't going to get caught. You was caught before you started. That's the thing about spirit. Some of these spirits, and I'll be honest with you, and I've seen some in action. Way more action than people realize how much I saw in action. But I've seen spirits that people have called on, try to play two fields at the same time. Trust me, I've seen it. And at the same time, look over your shoulder as your baneful work shot to shit. And the spirit is leaning over, literally leaning over, watching you implode. And then, not to laugh, but then to see, like, you know how a portal open? I can't stop laughing because somebody's doing such dark work. It's not going to be normal. The way they have reached beyond the norms of escalation. You're not going to get a normal response. It's giving me, and I said this earlier, I said, It's almost like I can't remember the guy from Marvel. What's the guy with the 5 rings? I don't know the guy's name, but he was a villain. He wanted the 5 rings, Galactic Galaxy something, and all the Avengers had to come at the end game, and the portals said, "Pew, pew, pew." That's what somebody's getting ready to experience in the collective. Somebody's getting ready to get the end game. They're going to have a whole bunch of gods and spirits literally open up portals, boom, 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 and they're going to be like wiped out. This is the funny thing. They call their friends, "Hey, come help me. I'm gonna get this boom, boom, boom person. This one person. This is one person." They go call their friends to rally and bully one person. And they don't get no regular people to go to fight battles. They go get the elite people, the people they shouldn't put in their petty squabbles. Ain't nobody asked you to pick fights with people you can't beat. Nobody told you to go out here bullying and raping and pillaging half the community loudly as you thought you were stout. Nothing lasts forever, as all collectives say. Nothing lasts forever. Out here stealing, lying on people, being a tyrant for so long. It got good to you. Spirit said, it got good to you. Somebody got real good. Somebody's telling you not to expose them, and they were already exposed, collective. I told you they were flintstoning the car, lifting it up, running, trying to pretend that everything's all in well for a very long time. The wheels knocked off. Steering wheel's gone. That's a lot. Somebody want to keep going. So, of course, with every escalation, they take more risks. Now, keep in mind, the collective has been quiet. I know because I've been tricking. The collective is like playing elevator music. The collective is ding, 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 ding. I mean, it's elevator music for the collective. Collective walking into the elevator all slow. The elevator opens. Ding, hi, yo. Ding. Floor 8. Ding. Elevator music playing. Chaos everywhere. The collective is overcoming these battles, these spiritual warfares like it's nothing. And somebody's been locked in a pattern of control and fear the entire time. Secrecy, control, and fear the entire time. And nobody has confronted them. So when they're blaming the collective, just one individual, you ain't gonna expose me. You expose yourself, Wizard of Oz. You expose yourself. The curtain has been pulled back. You've been tooting and talking on that machine for a couple of months now. Piercing the voodoo doll 29 times at speed, rapid speed. You should have been a doctor instead of a witch. With the way you handle needles. You should have been a doctor. The dedication you had, you could have been a doctor. You could have been something far more than what you are now. It's funny how people want to invest in ruining lives with dedication, that they should have dedicated all of that fuel for themselves to escalate them. It's funny because I said, this is where you know somebody ain't paying attention. The intelligence level is kind of small, kind of dim. Because if you had that much time, much of that audacity, much dedication, I'm going to do this forever till I die. That type of dedication, you could have had your millions of dollars years ago. Your fury of abundance and chasing what everybody else had, Build-A-Bear witch. You're running it through all the gates of heaven, robbing people, robbing them blind, hoping nobody saw, and you out here back open, curtain looking like the Wizard of Oz. People been saw you. Nobody said your name. People will hope you quit. You don't quit. And then you're mad at the people you're targeting to expose. You've been exposed months, years ago. We all know your name. When I say it, I'm not playing. When I told you, and I'm going to say it like I said. You can't be running after me, mad and throwing threats at me. I said, first off, I ain't scared of you. That's obvious. Let's just knock the obvious first. Sheila's not scared of you. Okay? You messed with the wrong one. I may look small and tiny, but I'm mighty. The audacity. I may look like a little Red Riding Hood with the Uzi. Okay? You see that little cricket gun from Men in Black? That's what I be holding. That shit packs a punch. While you rocking the Uzi, I'm rocking a little cricket. Stop looking at people in the collective as lunch meat, target practice, because y'all said, oh, you're gonna be my experiment. Okay. Right. We'll see how that gonna work out. Mm-mm. I guess some people say, hey, I can act a whole ass. You're gonna die anyway. That's what they thought. That's what they thought. Yep, they had your time, date, graveyard, burial, got your obituary. I said, damn, this bitch made an obituary. The audacity. Bitch. The audacity. How can the collective, who's been through this much warfare, expose you when you have told everybody through gossip? Remember, your gossip was your operation. I just want people to remind that who they're arguing with is one-sided. They keep arguing with the collective. And you can't argue with the collective when you told everybody. Who are you arguing with? It's sure not the one that you're fighting. Hello. And then they're yelling. They're looking around going, what you mean? What you say? Dummy? I don't know why I just saw, was it Fred Sanford? He's like, yeah, big dummy. This person says, she gonna tell all our business. No, you did. Keep it together. Get the receipts. Collective readings is psychic readings. You don't have to claim nothing in psychic readings. But if you are telling gossip out of your own goddamn lips to make yourself sound credible, it's you that's telling on you. Fight yourself. That's what I want to make people make sense of. She gonna no, ain't nobody told your secrets. You told your secrets. Look at the gossip. You told your secrets to a whole bunch of people to believe a secret, a lie, a narrative for years. These people got receipts. Them people, what you gonna do? Wipe out the whole collective memory that you didn't talk to for 4 years, 10 years? It's like lying to your family. They find out your family, find out you're a liar. Now you look like a fraud. Now you look like you don't have any authority. Ain't nobody do that to you. Nobody made you out here to look like a false authority but you. Keep that in mind. So the collective don't need to be going out here yelling at people. I'm gonna put that out here too. You don't need to get on TikTok, Twitch, nothing to be yelling at these people who've been lying on you this whole time. It's obvious. The receipts are out there. What is happening in the collective? Nobody's a fool unless they choose to be. Now keep in mind, I don't play no games. Because a lot of people in this particular circle is very psychic and intuitive. So that means the whole 5 years, their psychic abilities was off. That's all I'm going to say. For 5 years, you let somebody create a narrative that you agreed to, that you was on point with your intuition as a reader, as a spiritualist to go along this ride for 5 to 10 years. All of y'all supposed to be intuitive. And now you're looking at me like somebody done told your big secret. Nobody told you big secret. The big secret told itself. Keep that in mind. Ain't no bigger charlatan than the charlatan that's gossiping all around town, exposed by their own doing. I laugh because I see somebody who had red string around their arms trying to control people. Maybe they're trying to control something. But them strings cut, baby. What you doing? Stop. Get a hold of yourself. Collective. The collective have the strategic thing to do is to withdraw. Protect yourself, calm down, and reset. That's what the collective is doing. Collective got a victory. Collective has a victory. Okay? The light and all that lies and all they stole is returning to sender. Okay? This is a justice that doesn't need a spectacle, but somebody likes it loud. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. Get loud. Stop playing. Somebody wants to be loud. Now I keep telling that people, if people doing psychic readings, you don't have to claim anything. But keep in mind that you want to get online, you want to buff and bully people, you want to threaten people. And I'm like, stop threatening the people you're targeting. And look at what you did for the last however many years and find out that you have exposed yourself. Nobody else exposed you. The collective don't have to say another word. And I said this for the last 8 of my daggone podcasts, if you go back and check. But they don't have to say a goddamn thing. Sit your ass down, collective. Don't be pointing out who, what, when, where. Just sit your ass down and look. Because they did it to themselves. Okay? So justice is being restored. The truth is always going to outweigh the narrative. Whatever lie, whatever they did unfairly, whatever injustices was done, it's being corrected, and it's being corrected quietly. So somebody's exposure, contradiction has surfaced without you having to do anything. Collective, shut your ass down. Shut up. Shut up. That's what I'm saying to the collective. And somebody want to snap and act unhinged. Snap and act unhinged to yourself. Snap and be unhinged to yourself. Being stable in these times outlasts chaos. I just told collectors to stay calm, shut your lip, shut it. Okay? Stop being reactive to everybody's pokes and bears and stunts. The more dramatic they are, the less you respond. Just give them the look, the stare at them, and the straight face. That's it, collective. Because they're going to be very reactive. If you react like they react, y'all going to be out here acting a goddamn fool. It's going to be a mess. You hear me, collective? A mess. And you need to act like you got some grounded sense. Be a leader, authority figure in your own embodiment. Sovereignty. Withdrawal. Peace is not about, people think people withdrawing is like cowardly. I'm like, no, it ain't. In spiritual sense, it is sovereignty. It is protection. Isolation is protection. Reset. Collective. Understand what I'm telling you. Some of y'all need to separate yourselves out of the environment for your own protection. Okay? Hear what I say. Some of y'all are in the blast zone. That's all I'm gonna say. In the blast zone. And just so you know that somebody with a group or an organization, could be somebody in the LGBT community, or just a group within itself. Somebody in their mind thought that their identity was leveraged over the truth. Okay, so somebody misused a message and then want to not identify it. Okay, so somebody took some truth because they had a leverage with an inclusiveness with a group of people. They thought they had the leverage to override truth and not identify it. So this is like somebody saying a whole bunch of stuff without any proof, just straight audacity at this point. And there's a whole then the worst part was that there was a whole bunch of gullible people believing every single goddamn word, not using their own intuition the entire time. They just made an agreement easily based on what someone said to find out that this person now looks like they don't have a spiritual authority. They look like a charlatan and a fraud, scammer and a fraud. Okay, so it's not nobody's fault for them to go pick fights and pick battles and then do so much so and then pull a whole bunch of groups involved and a whole bunch of people. It just was too much, collective. This is like somebody who gets into a marriage in a relationship and she ends up fighting his whole entire family based off what he's saying about her or him. Somebody's in that predicament, by the way. Somebody's in a marriage right now that the whole family's coming after them based off of what maybe what their spouse said about them. And it may not even be true for what it looks like. So you got to stay calm, collective. The ones that are who's been placed under this warfare, have to stay calm. Justice is here. Clarity is arrived without the fanfare. Justice is making corrections without the fanfare. But I think if someone keeps pushing, it's going to look like Marvels out here. It's going to look like the end game with the portals are just going to be pew, 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 pew. And I'm like, is that the Palladians? Is that, the galactic force? What the hell? Somebody's going to keep messing around. They're going to end up with a whole bunch of spirits coming to beat their ass because he caused so much disturbance. That's loud. That's loud and ridiculous. The truth is always steady. Deceptions collapse all on its own, collective, okay? So some groups, you get with, they can build on truth. Others will build on agreements. And sometimes agreements don't have any integrity. And that's where things will collapse after a while. No matter how long it's been going on, sometimes when certain people get in office and they've been you get the wrong one in office, it'll collapse the whole system. They've been running for 1,000 years and never had a problem until this time. Well, you know what? You picked that idiot and you signed him up. Now look at you. Okay? Can't help you. So somebody in a group has come into an agreement, and maybe the whole group has came into agreement. Now the collapse is inevitable. The false authority is shown. It's not my responsibility. Collective, it's not your responsibility to go and wake up the masses. It's good to focus on yourself. I'm not making this podcast to share my stories with people who don't want to listen with integrity. Okay? You got to have some common sense. This is for only the like-minded individuals. This is not for you to go around screaming and exposing people because you got I call it the chicken little syndrome. You got the victim mentality. I don't like that anyway, by the way. I don't like that whole victim mentality shit. Crying and shit. What the fuck? Don't like that. So peace is your power. Be in the spirit of peace. And if they want to lose their shit, let them lose it on their side of the fence. Stop trying to wake up the masses and focus on yourself, collective. Wake yourself up. Ain't nobody trying to be a vigilante. Unless ordained by God. Jesus like, and your job is, I was like, I'll take it, Captain. I take it. So collective. Keep in mind that a false authority, they like to be admired. Real authority don't give a damn. And I'm gonna use an example. False authority like to make a lot of spectacles, like it loud, look like a Wizard of Oz. Then you got people like Bruce Lee, very, very commanding, very assertive, master of their emotions, master of their craft. And they never really had to overextend to prove that they had the authority. They just had it. Denzel, to me, is another one. Now, I don't know how he is behind the scenes, but in his career status, he's too very much master of his authority, his demeanor as well. He can command authority without having it to be loud. And so that's why I need a lot of my collective to understand. Authority shouldn't be out there showboating, cussing people out all day long, showing power tricks all day long. It's not a performance. Spirit should not be a performance. You should not have your spirit team and yourself acting like you're on stage making a clown show performance. Your team is and your authority should be very calm, cool, sensible, and collected, and hopefully some integrity. Imaging, people are stuck on what it looks like, the aesthetics of what spirit look like for a lot of people. Spirit is not all the time about aesthetics. Okay, not for every spirit. You know, she's quite gorgeous actually. But image outruns truth. People will find themselves in remorse. So if you're running on aesthetics and you're trying to avoid truth, it's gonna put you in regret. It's gonna follow with exposure. So if you want to stand in character and look the part and the whole thing's a lie, and then you're looking upset and remorse because you're exposed. The collective do not have to expose you. Time does. So if things start to contradict and you start to see contradictions out here, multiple stories multiplying, what's real will always stay simple. Truth is simple. Complexities, not so much. Peace is your power, collective. And when you exit the conversation of people who wants you to believe and think you're stupid enough to believe, you got to start correcting it. Just don't let it keep going. You start asking these right questions. Y'all better start asking questions and start letting these people tell you whatever they think you will allow them to say to you. And then you ride along a false journey all that time, acting crazy, doing crazy things based on what somebody said to only find out that the whole time they were lying. So sometimes people will use magic to influence and control people as well. Nothing, like I said, nothing can outlast alignment. At the end of the day, no matter how much you try to push magic on something, if it's out of alignment, it's going to always have some sort of backlash. This is not the year to do that. This is a year that you need to get it together and focus on yourself and not everybody else. And it's sad for me to say that there's people who are way too old for anything after 18. I'm pretty much, you got common sense. When you're an adult, you have common sense. And at some point in your 40s and 50s, you gotta have some common sense. That nothing lasts forever. And that whatever influence through lies is limited. It always run out, it will always expose itself, especially when you're dealing with spirit. So right now, the collective, like I said, all your light is returning to you. If anything was stolen, lies, all of that will be turning around. Turn around every now and then. Stop playing. But yeah, it's turning around. Whatever people were trying to bind you to is dissolving, especially if it was done without your consent. You're not required to carry other people's problems and burdens and their expectations. You'll never meet it. It's not your responsibility to put on the weight of other people's traumas on you. You have to deny access. So let this, whatever's happening in the collective is going to end quietly. Well, it should end quietly. Not because it matters. It's just no longer aligned. Whatever this gossip was, is just no longer can run its course. Somebody's remorse or guilt is not your responsibility, nor for you to respond to it. Closure does not need a conversation. If somebody leaves you alone, say they don't want to talk to you no more, they don't want to be friends with you no more, I don't want to do this no more, stop asking for people to explain why. Let the conversation close. Closure does not always require, and I'm going to stand on it. If something's over, you ain't got to have to talk about it. Spirits out here, talk to some spirits about closure. They be like, some of the spirits won't even give 5 seconds, cut the lights out. They cut that shit off quick and no explanation. They're done. We're done. Snap. It's over. And there's no conversation. Y'all know spirits do that. Something got to go. What got to go? Such and such got to go. Boom. Done. Is that. Some people have it like that. So I want nobody to get on this whole ride. I need closure. I need closure. Sometimes closure does not arrive. Not everything. Most things is not going to require conversation. A lot of you are going to probably see people pull back into isolation to consolidate themselves, to get stable and stop chasing chaos. The collective is going to focus on being stable and outliving chaos. So the good part is justice is coming without to me, don't make me laugh, I'm going to say it. Without the shit show, without the fanfare, you'll see justice, collective. Without a whole spectacle. It's not my fault if there's somebody who can't get enough. Can't stop, can't get enough. Come on. Somebody who can't get enough. They want to keep pushing and pushing. I'm laughing. I'm hearing so many songs right now. It's not my problem that someone can't control themselves. Truth does not rush. So if somebody's rushing to get at you, it's not your fault. It's already exposed. They told too many people, by the way. Their gossip was their biggest downfall. So sorry. That victory is not loud. Okay? It's lasting. This is going to last. Okay, collective? And the illusion has collapsed. Whatever illusion they had out there is going to collapse. It has collapsed. It's not even a joke. It's already collapsed. Nothing is real. Everything is lost. Sorry. Clarity is peace. Forward movement. Game over. So sorry. Don't announce it to everybody, but it's game over. It's things that require alignment. Let's go into prayer. In the name of Jesus Christ, I release every false binding, agreement, attachment, somebody puffing their chest like a peacock. Sorry, I'm making jokes. Made through deception and manipulation or fear. By Michael's shield, I ask for protection, sealed and restored. May all false influences dissolve, all gossip lose momentum, all manipulation return to neutral. I receive neutralization, grounding seal, sovereignty, angelic gatekeepers, and renewal triggers now. Let truth stand, let peace remain, and let victory be complete. Amen. Neutralize all the troubles in your space, grounding yourself and sealing it. Sovereignty and angelic assistance to help gatekeep the peace, and renewal triggers. The charlatan is exposed not by your doing, collective, but by their own doing. And they're mad as hell because the illusion is falling. They've been seen as doing fraudulent things. They're trying to protect through their own intuition, which is pretty twisted right now. And they're pretty pissed off. They're pretty pissed off. Whatever they couldn't get from this lie, this narrative, and them digging for dirt for you has caused great insecurity and poverty for them. But nobody asked you to come for them. Nobody asked them to come for you. They came for you. They brought it all the way to the end of the gates, to over the gates. I mean, they went too far, collective. And now they have to understand that it's over. At some point, the gossip loses momentum. I feel sorry for whoever had to be on the other end of this. This is a pretty toxic situation, a pretty nasty situation, because so many people follow suit on whatever this person said for so long. So it's just like a whole bunch of people yelling at the same time about a whole bunch of shit that don't make sense for a whole long time. And somebody thought they won. Maybe they won for a while. I don't know, collective. But either way, truth is always going to last out besides all chaos. If you haven't checked out, there's some stories out there in TikTok that I saw was very interesting about the Epstein case. And somebody was bullied. I'm not going to say who, but it's obvious. But there was someone who was bullied like they was a pedophile. Come find out they were protecting the kids. And they had him go through court and jail and humiliation to only find out that he was protecting the children. Ain't that a bitch? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this message. But don't let nobody go out here and gossip about people to a point where the credibility, you lose all credibility based on your own lies. And people out here, you should not sit your ear and entertain it, because you're half the problem. They wouldn't have kept lying if you were smart enough to step back from the drama. You participated. You participated in this drama. You made someone who was already feeling insecure more secure by lying and agreeing to it. Now you got this person exposed and they're even more insecure. You don't know what they may do next because now they're unhinged. All of you in agreement together. Now you got to watch this person fall and then you fall with it. It's just unwise. So I don't know, until the next podcast, which is probably going to be a continuation of this, don't let people run you down to the point where you're not strong enough to tell someone to quit, to stop. And I mean, really do so unless they have a mental health issue. They should know better, especially after a certain age. This is not high school. And if they're escalating and continue to escalate, then it's a bigger problem. And that may be something that all of you have created. All right, until next time, peace.